I just finished my third semester of college. I'm currently studying animation. I don't know if I want to switch or not, but here's my stuff from my animation classes because those are, well, I take like 5 classes, and then they're usually like studio classes for me are usually like 3 hours twice a week, or 6 hours once a week. I think 3 hours are fine. It's just once it like starts going to the 6 hours, and I'm like, I don't usually leave the room for breaks, which I probably should do. I kind of just like sit there and then play Roblox or something for like an hour for the break, and then I just go back straight back, which is so bad for my eyes. But yeah. So this slideshow, please. This is the slideshow I made for my drawing for animation class, which um usually sometimes classes will, if it's like an art class, they'll typically have you put together some kind of reel or animation, or yeah, some kind of reel or slideshow, at least to show off what you've done during the whole thing, and then you present it at the end. Pretty much all I did was clean it up a bit, and then from what I had turned in originally, which was usually not on time, but the teacher's really nice and he gives good feedback. But anyways, this assignment was just like, oh, this is homework basically. It's like, oh, go out and fill up 2 pages of just observational drawings, and it's just like really awkward. I just kind of went back and forth on the bus so I can get these. This one's like, oh, pick 5 characters you like, take the head shapes, their hair, their eyes, ears, mouth, and what is this? Noses, and like mash them together. I don't like this one. I mean, like it was fun, but I don't like the little guy at the bottom. I hate him. He looks. Oh, I was like, damn, this won't load. This is one of the assignments that I was supposed to do in class, but then I forgot my drawing pencil, the pencil for my tablet. Because or you could choose to do things on paper and everything, which is what I did for this class, and then I gave up and I just did it at home, which was like, oh, we got like a video, and they're like, oh, just like basically we've done figure drawings. It's basically like, oh, here is the reference. Basically, just animate what you see here, and that's mine. Wow, yay! What a neat little guy. Can I leave now? Okay, silhouettes. It's like, oh, this is the first part in designing our characters, which we would then have like a storyboard for after, and based on like professions. So you have like a clown, DJ, spy, gravedigger, catfish. I quite like everyone else's a lot more because I feel like mine's are very simple-ish, but they're still very funky and everything. Um, Here's a little guy and they're making out of the little catfish. You never see his face in the final, but he's just a little guy. He looks like Shaggy and one of the elders from the creek from he looks like, I think David's his name, from Craig of the Creek, had a child. And he basically has that is basically their personality, and I feel so bad because I'm like, oh, damn. Here's some life drawings. I think this is first session. We had like once every 2 weeks on like every Thursday or so. Life drawings are fun, and more shapes, more mixed mismatched. Craig of the Creek, Amazing World of Gumball, Infinity Train, Lemon Grab, and Adventure Time, and um Excalibur Snow Leader. He's such a little guy. I love when eyes look like this. It's just like the circle and like the big dot in the middle. Also shoes. I feel like even though there's a lot more I think detail in Infinity Train than I realized, like in the clothes, in the boots. Like it is still simple, but it's like more um I don't know how to say it. It's a shoe, man. That and it's the construction, the turnaround sheet basically for my little guy, and this is the catfish version that I made like weeks later. He, the catfish version is so fat. like here compared to what it ends up being later on, which is perfectly fine. I mean, everything's gonna change after a while. Here's a little silly little head rotation. I don't like it. Just kidding. I feel like there's things I could fix, but it would take too long because I did try to fix at least or clean up it, but it still like feels kind of weird to me. And the character on model, it's basically like, oh, life drawing again, but instead put your character into the poses that character onto the like the models you drew. I don't have the references here, or I don't have the like the original models that I drew on here. I probably should have put that in, but what a silly little guy. He just like sticks his hand out of the mask. Here's some props for the character. It's like, oh, I absolutely love the little phone. He's such a little guy. I feel like he's just over prepared for everything. I'm just like talking about my OCs at this point. I don't really create OCs that often, but I think this was like 12 poses, 12 expressions, which they're like, oh, shoot some reference, like obvious, like make your own. I took most of these from someone else. The only one I did was this misery one, which is just me laying on the disgusting floor. I think this one is of like my partner at the beach. He's just like sitting in the sand. I'm not gonna put them in. And then the face expressions. He's such a little guy. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Ah, yeah, Scooby. Perspective grids. This is like the only class that I actually really did perspective like more in depth, which is something weirdly that I've never really got. That never they never really touched upon besides like in drawing class, like the first year drawing class, like they do a little bit of perspective, at least for the one I took, but it was mostly like, oh, life drawing stuff, and they don't really talk about vanishing points too much. I think this class really helped on it. Storytelling pose. What is this? Oh, it's like I don't know how to describe this. It's just like, oh, have your character do an action and have a reaction. So some people would like, oh, their character is like a conductor, so they'd be like getting upset over the band doing not good. He's just spilling a drink. He just noticed person spills drink on himself. It's not super clear. I probably should have just colored it a little differently. I mean, it's you don't have to really be like super um clean with everything. It's just like as long as you can tell what's going on, then it's not too big of a problem. Or it's for animation, so like you just want to get the ideas down, and cleaning up everything takes like a long time, like ridiculously long, and I hate doing line art. This is also like more little action poses stuff. It's just like him being him, a little mascot, and just balls in his mouth, cheerleading, doing little dance. Gatorade. I don't know what BS the flag just says BS because I don't know what school he goes. Like I haven't decided what school he goes to. What was I gonna say? Oh, he wasn't even like an official mascot of the school he goes to. He's like in college or whatever, or they're in college or whatever. But they're not even like the mascot of the school. They just like showed up in this little costume, and then people liked them so much that they just like, oh yeah, let's change our mascot. We didn't have one before this. I don't know. It's just a little guy. More storytelling poses. Oh, right. This is like the third drawing session where it's like, oh, make characters based on the little guys. I feel like I definitely could have put more effort into this little skeleton man because he is just very generic, and I could have like used reference to make him look better, but I think he's fine for what it is. This is like my character from Arcane Odyssey. I love Arcane Odyssey. This is one of my characters. What is in her hand? I don't know. Okay, I don't know if that was like something that the original person had in their hand because I know this stuff was added and changed. So these are just random people, dude. Here's a what is this? Model sheet. Yay! Apparently I was just supposed to take drawings that I've already done for like the past ones and just compile them here, but I didn't like them, so I just made whole new drawings of him just like fixing his little guy and feeding the fish, and him look like yeah, whatever. And this is just like the colored version. Yeah, You can't even see my mouse that much. The colored version. Yay! There's a little phone. I animal sketches. I think we're just supposed to do like little studies of it, but I don't know. I could have done better. I love this little random scratch scratch because I kept moving everything around. He's such a little guy. I love little fennec foxes. This brown bear staring into my soul. And then animal character designs. It was like, oh, pick an animal. You can either make a character out of, or you can either make a new character or like a companion for your already existing character or turn them into an animal. And I chose this a little, I think it was like a tree frog or something. It was like draw it realistically, draw it stylized, and draw it anthropomorphic. He just, people in my class was like, he kind of looks like Hillbilly Kermit, which I'm fine with. I think that's really funny. Hillbilly Kermit. Gosh. I don't like these ones as much. This is Life Drawing 4. I feel like the poses are either this one was rushed or I don't know what happened. I don't know why that one's blue. I don't know what that one's blue. But yeah, just another life drawing thing where it's like, oh, make characters out of them. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And then the turnaround sheet for the little frog guy. Some people kept their like animals in their like final project as like little companions. I didn't. Or they like completely scrapped their original project and like went on with their animal construction ones because I think someone did like a little catfish cooking thing which I thought was really cute, but this is the floor plan. It's like here. This was supposed to be for I was supposed to do this for homework where I was supposed to sketch out what I wanted the setting, like a rough thing of like a top down view of what I wanted the setting to look like. And then in class we did made this like perspective grid and then put it into a thing and I shaded it, added a little bit of lighting, and then put the character in the into the scene. So he's just sitting there in the corner. Oh, this is a cafe. If you couldn't tell, yeah. I mean, it's really rough. So this would be like the little display case with all the little goodies. Um, it's just like a small cafe, but I think it's kind of yeah. No, that's it. I was like, that's all. And then here's where we had to actually like make a nice-ish, pretty not like pretty cleaned up or more cleaned up version or clean up like a one single panel just to like or of like some pivotal moment actions stuff yada yada. This dude is just crashing through the ceiling and these two aren't on a date on the bottom. Yeah, I'll explain it later. I want to get into it. But Life Drawing 5, it was just, hey, compile your favorite ones. And yeah, I quite like these ones. Or I like two, like, what is this? The right three ones. And then the left two, I'm not too much of a fan, but I kind of didn't like a lot of the ones I made in this session. Perspective viewpoints, it's just here, take pictures and find like find the area or find the vanishing point for them and you based on like lines. It just has to be based on lines that are like gonna stay consistent. Like you can't do it against like the car or anything because well, cars move, people move. So the best thing would be like oh against a wall or like staircase. Yeah, or against the staircase. Oh, I took this little picture has a cat in it. Beat boards. It's basically like an outline of what the story is going to be. Like this the pivotal moments. So this is everything is going to always have an establishing shot, like a zoom out just to like get to know the area, yada yada. He's on his phone onto this little dating app. He got 4 matches. Wow. The spy didn't show up. This guy looks nothing like he's such a he looks nothing like his profile picture. And then it's just time change of the spy and then it's just darker now. His phone's dead. This little clown didn't say he had kids. He showed up with his kid. The whole point is just like, wow, all of them, all of them are catfishes basically, or at least they're not what if they appear to be. I think. Oh, I don't know if I could call them catfish, but she shows up. It's dark. She looks spooky. She's actually really nice. And they have like a nice conversation. She hears something over these little music notes are from the ceiling because this spy dude is just making his own spy music. He's just going dun 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 in like the ceiling. He is just crawling through the vent or whatever. Not the vent, but like a gap between like the ceiling and like the actual roof of the yeah, whatever. He crashes through the ceiling, breaks the table, and they get kicked out because, well, he crashed a hole through the ceiling, and they have to close up shop. He basically just hits on everybody and gets rejected by everybody, the spy guy, because, well, because this is like the when he was originally supposed to come, he was supposed to come like 3 days ago. This is in between days. Like he's supposed to show up the first day. Okay, he doesn't show up at all. Next day, this is just panning back, and then this is next day. And he's like fashionably late to his date, like 3 days late to his day. And they just kind of walk off, be on their merry little way. I would have added more beat boards, but the thing said 12 at max, and then it said in parentheses if you needed more. And for some reason, I felt like restricted to 12, and then I never added more little beat boards to it. So that's about yeah. That was honestly my bad. I just can't read for most of these, so I end up doing it wrong. And then the storyboards was just basically like, oh, take one or two of your beat boards and turn them into like a storyboard thing. So this is gonna be like more messy and stuff because it's supposed to be more simple because it's just a storyboard. So he's sitting there, he's looking out the window, lightning strikes, he looking at the door opens, she shows up, he's scared. Fuck. This is not the right one. So you see her shadow pop up. It's his perspective. She sits down. I forgot to add the little chair in the back, like my teacher told me to, so you can actually like tell that she's actually sitting down. She pulls her hair back. She's actually really friendly. She's talking. She looks down, and he's giving her a towel out of his mouth. Just conversation. They're just having the time of their life. And then she's like, "What's that noise? Do you hear that?" Because it's get out of here. God, wait, let me close my Photoshop because I don't need it no more. She's like, "What? Do you hear that?" And he looks up. He's so like he looks like a little puppy here. It's not intentional, but he's so cute. I love them so much. Oh, by the way, the little catfish's name, his name is Spud, and then this is Holly. Because I was like, I want, because his name is like Potato, so I was like, ah, I want it to be a plant still, and yeah, that's it for this class. This is my pendulum swing, which was like one of the first. This is just my little guy. It was like, oh, do a pendulum swing because this is for animation too. So we basically, at least my class covered the basics for animation in animation 1. It's like you don't have to clean it up because that takes way too long. You only have like one day to do this anyways. It was supposed to be this and another one that was supposed to be due that one day, but I think the teacher was absent for the first 2 weeks, which we only had this class like once a week. So a 6-hour class once a week. So that was fun. That was fun. This was mine, I think. Unless I have a no, this is the only one I have. I think we were supposed to do both of this one and the first one in that 6-hour period, which animation takes a while. I could have done both. Like if you're newer at drawing and you're like putting more details into it, then it's gonna take like way longer. I did it in Adobe Animate. Some people did it in what is it called? Procreate or something. This is like the rough outline. Yeah, it's just a little jump, and they're like, oh, add in a background. So add a setting, a little rough setting. So there's this little dude, which I'm actually really proud of this one, but I think it's the only one that I actually spent some time like outside of class doing. So I actually had to like clean it, make it smooth. Expressions, lifting, lift. There was a lift. Tie down, yeah. This should be it. Okay, why is there a hand out of nowhere? This is the other one. He rolls his little shoulders to get ready. He perks it up. Wow. It's just like, don't ask me where that hand came from. Yeah, but this I am actually pretty proud of this one too, even though I put it off for so long. Because I was just like sitting in class like, oh, I don't know. I found this hard class like really hard to like actually focus in. It's probably because I kind of sat in the back, which was my fault. I can't tell if this is the um okay, yeah. I guess this is the cleanup version because I didn't post another. He's my little guy. He said very Miyazaki. I don't know what that means, dude. I've only watched like two Miyazaki films, I think. I guess it's three now. I have not watched any Ghibli films until I got into college. At least I don't remember. I like remember watching Ponyo as a little kid, but I never really I don't know. I don't really remember it that much. It's just something that people really are like, "Oh, like Studio Ghibli is so good." This is my personality walk as little goose. Okay, let me hide that stuff. He's such a little guy. It's a basic, very basic walk. I think there's always like a pause at the end for when it loops around. Yeah, but I think if you ever want to get started on animation, it's like or knowing the basic principles is good, so you can always exaggerate everything, even though it's not like what or having good reference just to like get the idea of how things move for everything. Reference is so good. This one that I posted already because this was my final. I didn't know what to do for most. It's like I had like I think 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks to plan this out. It was like oh, originally I was just it was like oh you could pick an action or you can have an action sequence. And I was just gonna I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was going to just make like my character have a big banana, like a big fruit, and the bird lands, and then I just eat the banana. I was like, that sucks. And I was like, I told my teacher, or my professor, I kind of want to do an action scene. But they're like, oh, since we're already like 1 weekend, I mean, it's only good to do like an action scene if you've already like done the storyboards or everything and have something already planned out because it has to be like, or it's supposed to be under 9 seconds. Originally, it's supposed to be under 9 seconds. But me with animation, it's like, oh, I can time things out in the really rough storyboards and I'll still end up with like twice as many frames as I originally intended to because I just kind of have to like keep adding more frames here and there just to, like fix the timing. I did have like some plan for the fight scene, but it was just like I don't know what I want to put because it is based on Arcane Odyssey again. There's so many options for like what I could do like boxing, magic, weapons, shield throws. I was gonna do a shield throw initially, and then this bird. There's not really birds in Arcane Odyssey, or there was one for like the Halloween event, and I think he's the cutest. He doesn't do anything, but I think he's very cute. What if I just open up Roblox right now so I can show you my Arcane Odyssey character? I can you even see this? No, you can't. Oh shoot. Oh well, I will just give you a little screenshot, I guess. I was gonna like add the little hair accessory, but I didn't have time for that, and I was really tired. I wasn't even finished by the time I had the last class. Yeah, I wasn't even done by the end of like the classes. So all this dude said for this was cool. I was just like, okay, I guess. And that's pretty much it for the. Is that really everything I've done in this class? It doesn't feel like a lot. Oh, the hammer, right. I just kept the little cat from the visual, the light one. Did I show the light one? He's so silly. Oh, smoke effects. That's what one of them was. I use reference for this too, but I think it's really nice. Like, especially when it comes to studying new things that you haven't done before. Like, reference is really good. I don't know what to say. It's like if you can look at something and like learn like why it moves the way it does, then I think it's really effective. And then we have the little sack walks, which I don't really. I feel like the little sack guys are like essential for every animation school. Not well, I don't feel like it's essential. I feel like it's in every animation school because it's like, oh, let's have a little guy with no expressions and you have to make it have something to it. And here's him, and then this is my little guys. I don't like them that much. This is my reel for 3D animation. I've never used 3D. I've never 3D animated before. This was like really shoddily put together like I think the day before, or at least that we were supposed to present in class, and they're like, "Oh, it's okay. You could turn it in after class." Like just by the end of the day, I was like, "Oh, okay. Well." So there's some little mishaps in between the title and like the actual art or whatever. I don't know why this exported so low quality. I think that just might have been me, but it's at 360p and it's stuck at 360p, which is fine because literally all of them were just screenshots or like rendered out, or not even rendered. They were exported like at low quality, and I didn't realize I could up the quality until like the end of end of the semester. Just to get started, model like a little freeform object. I love how low quality it is. Model a little freeform object. Later on, the second part was to like put textures onto it. This is my favorite. I did this one before the first one, which is probably not what I was supposed to do, but it was like, oh, like put a reference up next to it and then model anything you want. So some people did like Snoopy, some people did Kirby. I almost did Kirby, but I was like, that's too simple and I want to challenge myself. No hate on the other ones because they looked really good. I was like, oh, it is so cute. Okay, yeah, I was like, oh, and then here's it textured, modeled. I just pulled some random ones on the fly. I still have not learned to do UV maps where it's like, oh, you make your own where you can draw it, and I didn't look into that. I should really look into that. Here's my bouncing ball. Here's another bouncing ball. It's just this one's supposed to be weighted and then into like some kind of setting. So I was like, okay, seesaw. Yeah, I didn't even need to put the wall here. I just like we did the bouncing ball in class, and then they're like, "Oh, just turn it in." And I was like, "Do I just turn it in like how it is?" So I just ended up putting in a wall because I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to like redo everything, or at least fix everything, because I wanted to like see the progress that I made. So here's like a rendered scene, or like it's like, oh, make a scene, add some lighting. Here's the rendered scene that I made out of it, which is just more balls, man. Yeah, and then this is the other one, the other scene that has like a 2 week kind of thing. Yeah. I don't know. I really loved seeing people's reactions to this. Um, yeah, some people thought it was funny and some people were like, "Oh my God." But it's like it's our school, man. He looks like a little pickle down there. Yeah, he's looking around. He's just like, oh man, oh no, I stole this car off of somewhere else because they said that was fine, and I'm like, okay, I guess. Um, Norman, I think this is free model. It's like, oh, specifically for learning, and this is what this is. This is the learning purpose, man. So it's like, here, learn how to pose this little guy first. Show me. I just based it off like the little catfish guy I did. So yeah. So he's like the same. He's still a sad little guy. And then here's the basic walk cycle we learned. I'm planning on making a Roblox, or like a story time Roblox thing that kind of is intertwined with this a little bit. but not really. And here's the personality walk cycle. He's just amping himself up for his little date. Yeah, and then this is the final where it's like, oh, make a little acting scene. He just rolls around. He's so cute. That is the only thing that kept me going. It's just like, oh, he's so precious. They're so precious. Animating in Maya is such a hassle. Like, I shot reference for this one, which is why it actually keeps it feels a little bit more real, I guess, than I don't know. Yeah, I shot reference for both of these, but not for so much for the facial expressions, which I probably should have done. Like, I would love to go back and add like a little bit more like time between the exhale because I feel like it's really quick. Um, but yeah, he's such a little guy. This is my favorite. It only took me 2 weeks and like 6 hours. It's like, oh, I was like, surely I'll finish this by the end of so and so class, and then I ended up working it. I looked at it and I was like, oh, sh- damn, I have to redo this because it's not where I want it to be. And then I spent another 5 hours to get it where it's just like another 5 hours after school just to get it here. 3D animation, like, the process is just like, oh, you shoot reference, you get like the pose to pose, like I mean, like I wouldn't say it's quicker than 2D animation. But I wouldn't say it's easy. Like, they both have their ups and downs. I do like both in like some kind of sense, but they both frustrate the heck out of me. I feel like making changes in 3D is a lot easier than to do in 2D, but the main thing is just like, oh, getting your like main poses down like this and have like the extremities of like where the feet ends and then pulls back. In order to keep it not feeling too stiff, you do have to like make minor adjustments like, oh, having like some delay in the feet from when they pull back so it has like some kind of drag, and then the in between frames so it doesn't just move in a straight line, it actually like moves like in a curve. Okay, I would need to pull up MS Paint for this or something. I'll just do Paint because I'm like, ah. Oh, one of my big things with 3D is every single, like, sometimes it just like fucking pops a shoulder out of nowhere, dislocates for like a split second, and it's like, why are you doing this? There's literally no gaps or anything. I literally looked through everything and it looks fine. They're like smooth little curves. I don't know why it does it, but it just does. Like, this little phone, you can't even tell it's the little fish. It's the little fish phone I made. But it just, since I moved the whole body around and I set the phone to move to like according, like basically tied it to the wrist. Once I untied it, like once I let it go, it would basically just keep spinning. And I was like, why are you doing this? Please. I had to fix it so many times and it's just like, no thank you. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this semester. How long was that? Like from like August, not even the August, September, October, November, December. 4 months. Or no, that didn't even count. I didn't August. I don't count August. Not even like a little, like 3 months and a half. Like, yeah, 3.5. Not even like 4 months. That's not including my other two classes, which were just basically acting for animation, which was just like, oh, studying improv, and then there's also like history, a visual, like some kind of history stuff. I did make an animation, like a short animatic for that, but it has music in it, so I'm not gonna show it. Or, I guess I should. It's like I put way too much effort, and like I put a lot of effort. Or yeah. Oh, I don't know, because it was like, oh, you have like a week or two to do this. I like rushed this and did it in like 2 days, and then some people just basically just made like a thing of their Spotify. It's just like, oh, here's the screenshots of my Spotify albums, and it's put together. That is that is what it is, and I'm like, okay, cool. Why did I spend like way too much on time on this? Oops, I pressed the wrong one. You get to see a little behind the scenes, man. Is this project was basically like, oh, choose an aspect of visual culture, so like books, media, anything you can see, honestly, clothes, or is it really visual culture? Music. People did music. I don't know how that works. But it was just like pick a part of media and that really like changed your lives. And I was like, oh, animatics, this is therefore I should make an animatic. Yay! This is basically all the each little dot is all the frames, yada yada, blah blah. You're just gonna see like the rough. This is gonna get copyrighted, but it was very embarrassing. It's like I didn't need to do this. This is so. This is a little like my little redraws of all the art I did. I'm gonna keep talking, so hopefully I might not get copyrighted. But look at me. Oh, wait, you can't probably can't even see it. Oh no, you can. Thank God. This is so cringe. I hate this. Oh, it's just like I think YouTube greatly shaped my life. It's something I grew up on, and I think like growing up, Jane animations, biggest like probably one of the bigger and aspirations. I was like, oh my God, I want to do YouTube, but I have no I can't talk, but I can't. I mean, like I don't think my personality is funny enough to be in gaming, and it shows because I just kind of sit there and be like, "Oh, wow," the whole time. But yeah, this is my little. This is supposed to be like fifth, sixth grade. Sixth grade is when I would like actually like really start drawing, kept a sketchbook and everything. Like doing little storyboards. So there's odd ones out. I I was like, I don't really like I wouldn't say I don't like AFMAO. I was like it was a chunk of my childhood, but even that back then I saw it as a little problematic because it is end of day like oh she was in her like high school one. It was like she is literally like what a freshman, so she's like 14 dating a super senior like 19 years old, and I'm like oh that's kind of weird. TBH. Like I knew that as a kid, because I was like, ooh, like when I was like little, it was weird to like be like, oh, I like this dude from 2 grades above. Woohoo! And I'm like, oh, that's a lot. That's like a whole ass adult with like a child. I'm sorry, but apparently that's how they. I shouldn't get into this. I'm like, oh, it is problematic, but it's like, oh, it shaped me, unfortunately. Oh, I think probably the reason why I had so many like oh cat girl stuff. My son, bro. Roblox stories. I love Roblox stories, bro. I I love Roblox. Like people like Carva and Arcabra, it's Kavra, and Skylery, a big impact, dude. I loved watching those. It was like, oh man, if I can't draw, it, they made me want to do like animations in Roblox, but I never really got the hang of it. And now I know how to do 3D animation, and apparently Roblox has an animation thing. But this is um I used to draw on my phone. Sorry. This is just uh, this is like I think one of them held like a contest for like Robux, and I entered and I actually got like one of the prizes, which was like I was really happy about as a kid. I was like that shaped me, man. That shaped me. And yeah, that is what that is. And then these are my drawings. Literally the first page of my sketchbook is literally my one of my first sketchbooks is literally Markiplier with Slenderman. I kid you not. I could probably pull up all these awful drawings, and I don't know if I want. I will. I probably will. I have to pull up my sketchbook and take pictures though. This is literally how I drew foxes. This is my FNAF phase, and I loved Soul Eater still. It's a good anime. This I actually was really proud of this one. I think this is from this is definitely from a Roblox game, similar to Blammo or something, but not exactly Blammo. Pokemon, bird, more birds, I guess. And it's dragon cat. Huh. Oh wait, so this is fifth, eighth maybe? That looks like eighth grade me. This is high school definitely, and this is like more recent, or at least like maybe a senior year of high school. Yeah, definitely senior year of high school, or at least in probably in COVID because there's this little guy. Probably COVID. And this is me now. Oh my god. Wow. I touch the screen, I get zapped in. Yeah, it's kind of what a silly little premise. I was just like, I don't really know how to make this more about like I think someone's like, oh, some person they're like talking about like what other people did other years. They're like some people just like put their character into like art styles they like. So I was like, okay, well I guess I would just segue into that and somehow make it make sense. I was like, oh, suddenly I'm in Jaden animation style. Hell, whoa. This is so Jaden Animation. I don't know how to say their name, but Sin, I think SZIN. They did like a lot of Hamilton and animatics and stuff. I really loved them as a kid. I was like, ah, I want to do that. Their drawings are so pretty. But I think this is Domix. Yeah, don't mind how messy it is. This is Cuddle Concealed. Yeah, like animatics person, animation person, Cuddle. Um, this is my little Roblox character. Uh, I forgot who this is supposed to be. I was like, maybe, I think this was just Odd Ones Out. Minecraft. Hello, Minecraft. Okay. Okay, that's all. That's everything.